How's it going, everyone? So this is lesson 4. Welcome back. And as always, let's begin by inserting our template that we did. Make sure that when you're doing that your borders are hidden, right? So we're going to double click the header to get inside the header. And we're going to paste that in. And as always, different first page. Then we paste it in. And we're going to go ahead and delete this one. So now we have our header template. So I know it's you. And then we're going to double click inside the body. And if you're struggling like that just happened, you can always hit the close header button and get back in. Sometimes it can be wonky and it doesn't always want to allow you to do that. I'm going to delete some of the extra space down here so I can just work in one page. And here we have it. All right. So apply a pre-designed theme to document to give a professional look. Use heading styles for each style, right? So we have our heading styles right here. Use the heading styles for each section to ensure consistency throughout the document. Modify existing styles to suit the document's specific needs, such as font size, color, and the line spacing. So the way this works, where it says heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, that's going to be your primary heading. So if we go to our styles tab here and we hit that eject button, we'll see that we'll have these heading styles here, and they get more and more subtle as you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and highlight heading 1, and I'm going to hit my eject, and I'm going to go ahead and select this top heading right here. So it even tells us this is heading 2. So if we hover over heading 2, you can see the difference, right? And the size. So we're going to go ahead and do this heading here, heading 1. I'm going to select heading 2. I'm going to go ahead and apply the same heading. I'm going to select heading 3 and apply that heading as well. This is going to come important later on in life and whatnot. And then it wants us to, it wants us to do it throughout the whole document. It wants the pre-designed themes. So these right here could also be independent headings as well. And so like if we hit that eject button and we give it the subtle heading or the quotes heading, we can see how it's adjusting. So like putting this heading before this heading, we can see that probably wouldn't work, right? Something a little bit more subtle. That's a little bit more intense. Subtle reference. I think I'm going to go with the subtle reference because it's going to, why am I going with the subtle reference? Let me see here. Let me look at this one. You could possibly go with the intense reference as well, but I'm going to go with the subtle reference because it keeps my line listing the same, right? It gives me 1 and 2. Or if I go to like emphasis, or let me see, if I go to just plain subtle, I lose the count. The counters are no longer counting for me, right? It just, the 1 goes away. The next one goes to 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the subtle reference here. And I'm going to use the subtle reference on this one as well. All right. So now we have the subtle reference here, subtle reference there. And when it means like, let's see, modify the existing styles to meet I'll just read it. Modify the existing styles to suit the document's specific needs, such as font size, color, and line spacing. If you do this right and correctly and you pick the right references, you may not have to do that. But if I were to highlight this, I could change the color to match the other ones. Let's just say I want it black. And I want this one black. And I want this one black. It now looks more contrast, I believe is the right word I'm looking for, with all the other headings. We'll notice also this kick out right here that we have when we turn this into heading, where we can kick out everything underneath that heading. So why is this important to use heading when I'm creating documents? Well, it depends. Let me see, title. Proposer for market. We can give this a title too. Let's use a title heading. Let's see, styles, see where it says title, boom, title. So now we got our title and we got our different headings. So, and we have our subheadings. So you should have had a total of 3 different styles to do this, right? So what advantages does this give us? Well, let's say here, I'm going to just press enter and I'll press enter again. I'll press enter one more time, and I got now 3 spaces right here, 3 enters in between. What I can do now is I can go to my insert tab. I'm sorry, I think it's under references. Let me see, references. Oh yeah, right here, references. And table of contents. I can insert my table of contents. And what that does is it'll insert, I'm just going to do the automatic table 1. And you'll see now that the table of contents pulls out these different references. So this is where those references would come into play. Now, if, I'm going to go ahead and, now that I have the space, my working space, what I can do now is I could actually just delete heading 1, delete heading 2, and delete heading 3, right? Now that I have my template. And when I update my table, it should update, I'm going to select the entire table. It should update, and I believe we'll probably go over this in another lesson. But when I hit that update, it should remove those portions of the heading that I deleted, right? So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And now our table of contents just says introduction, objective, and budget. All on page 1. Okay, so if I do a section break, which we learned on one of the lessons, and hit Control Enter, it still says 1. Why? Well, because I haven't updated the table. So let me update the entire table. And now we see that the budget is on 2. So when you enter your table of contents, at the end of your project is when you should update the table to see where everything lands, right? Now, let's say, like if I'm writing a book and I need something to be on page 3 or 4 or 5, whatever page I need a certain piece of content to be on. Let's say because I want chapter 1 to always be on odds as I turn the page, or my chapters on chapter 1 is on the odd page or something like that. This is why you see blank pages in books, is because after they're done updating the table of contents, they need those extra spaces and extra blank pages so everything lands where it's supposed to be. So if I continued on and heading, chapter, and my table of contents goes from taking up part of a page to taking up 3 pages, you never know where everything is going to land because it's now taking up 3 pages. It pushes all the documents down, all the pages down to your pages. So you got to go figure out where you're going to enter your blank pages. So the table of contents lines out with everything on the page. So that is actually the reason, or one of the reasons, that you end up finding blank pages in books, because they need, in order for the reader to read, they want certain elements of that book or document to land on certain pages in order for it to land, the messaging to land right. So that is the purpose behind that. Okay, so we went ahead and did everything now. We applied the pre-design. We used the heading styles for different sections, and we modified each existing style to suit the specific needs. Now, as always, make sure you have your header in there, save your document, and upload it to the assignment, the document.